Alright guys, before we continue by doing the shoulder blades, let's make some adjusts by on the proportions based on the skeleton. Um, when it comes to measure the things in the skeleton, one big great unit that we can use for this is this height here, like this circle. Do you guys remember when we were doing the head and we made, let me show you, we made the cranium like this, and here, as you can see, we have this first big measure which we will take from the top of the head, and this line here which will be in the middle. Let me show you this. You guys remember those lines of thirds that we created in the beginning? We separated like thirds, and then I said about this circle. I'm not sure if I said about it, but here in this base of the nasal hole here and the base of zygomatic bone, when we got this measurement, we can replicate for all the body and use this as a great unit, to check if the measures are okay. So like here will be like another unit from this line of the base of the nose, the base of zygomatic bone, and then it will replicate until the beginning of the sternum, like here, as you can see, right? And then another thing that we can figure out is this unit will be the same for the size of clavicle, and the same unit will be used for the size of the sternum, right? So, and then from the end of sternum until the last rib here, we're gonna have another same unit, which will be this unit here. So one thing that I like to do in order to measure some place here in ZBrush is to use the transpose line. To change to the transpose line, you just press W or E or R, it doesn't matter exactly. You just need to access the gizmo, and then you press Y, the Y button on the keyboard, and then you're gonna have the access for the transpose line, like this one. The transpose, once you click in some place, it's gonna follows the surface of the model of the active subtool, or even the surface of other subtool, but it will grab on the surface. But once you click and then you press shift button, it's gonna increase the line based on the angle of the screen, right? So this is now a straight angle, so we can now measure those things. Note that now I have my perspective turned off, so we can measure it properly, So I'm gonna start by clicking here into the base of the the base of nose until the top of head, right? We can use this with the cranium or even with the head. Here, as we did the cranium, just like based on the head, based on the cranium we did, so it will be kind of the same high, right? So as you can see here, the green line, it will be the measurement. Here we have like 1 and something units, and we also can calibrate this. You know, we can once you click with right button mouse of the mouse, you click in the circle, the yellow circle. It doesn't matter which one, like in the extremity, you can click with right button, and then you can raise up this measurement, and all the time the units will be shown here. Or even if your interface is customized and it's not here, you can go over preference, and then you go into the transpose unit here, and you're gonna have this parameter here, calibration distance, and then you can customize it and grab it to any place in your interface. As you can see, I have it here. I grab it there from just by enable customize, and then with Control and Alt key I can click and drag to any place that I want. Okay, so in my case I grab it to this place here, so I won't change anything. I can, after this, don't forget to do store config, and then every time you initialize ZBrush, it will remains in the same place right there. So once you check this unit, what you can do is to click over here and set a number. In this case, we're gonna set 1, and then I press, I don't know, tab. It doesn't matter, just to apply the number. So once we apply this, once you raise this value, you can see this little dash here, which is bigger than the others, and this will show us the complete size of 1 unit. Here we have 2 units, right? So the first one will be marked on the base of nose, the second one into the beginning of sternum. So here we have kind of exactly the right place, we can say, but maybe we could raise just a little bit the sternum, just to be perfectly, you know, the sternum mark that we did. And so as you can see in this image, we have the first one, which will be the circle in the head, then the second one until the beginning of sternum, until the end of sternum there. So we have it here, and then we're gonna have the last rib right there. It will be another unit. So just perfect, I guess. Maybe we could raise up just a little bit the rib cage, or yeah, at the time I think it's okay. And then we're gonna have another one until this region, and as you can see, it will not be perfectly in the end of the pelvis, right? But just a little bit above there, right? So just by measuring the size until this last rib, I like to do this, and also to measure the size of clavicles. You know, it will be the same size for clavicle and also the same size for the shoulder blades. We're gonna have it here, right? So one thing that we can realize here is that we're gonna have kind of a square distance from here to here. Those two distance here will be at the same size. So we could make kind of a square here and also another square over here, right? So at this time, I think it's a perfect size. All those squares are like 1 unit, the same with the circles we did, but just another way to think. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, this is the unit from the base of nose to the top of head. It's not the head high. You know, the head high will be another way to count the proportion, and we can also use this as well. It's the most common measurement for the proportion, and we can see it here or even in all the others examples. We can check the Loomis proportion, and all of them we can base on the idealistic proportion, because it will be 8 heads tall. So we could actually, you know, measure like this, the top and the bottom. Exactly in the middle will be the pubic bone, that it will be the half tall of the character. It will be located on the pubic bone. So the superior part and the lower part of the body, right? And the superior part, once we cut exactly in the middle, we're gonna have the height of the nipples, right? And to the nipples will be the count of 2 heads. So 1 head from the top of the bottom of the head, then from the base of the head to the line of the nipples, right? And then from the nipples, if we count another head, we're gonna have the belly button. I know it's kind of confusing in the beginning, but we have one thing that it was good for me to understand was to cutting the half portions, right? So if we have the high for the character, if we cut in the middle, the half size, we're gonna have the middle and the pubic bone, right? The pubic bone, it will be exactly in the start of the genitals and everything there. And then once we cut this high in the middle, in the half size, we're gonna have the nipples, right? And then from the nipples to the pubic bone, there's the middle, the half size will be exactly in the belly button, right? And the belly button actually will be kind of almost in the same height of the end of rib cage, but not exactly into this point, but more like in the end of here. So the belly button will be kind of located right here, I guess. So once we have like 1 head tall, if we replicate this size, it will be, I don't know, we have to measure with the translate line, transpose line there, but I think it will be kind of around here, I don't know, for the nipples, and then one more size we're gonna have the belly button, right? So let's try and check this by having the actual size of the head. We could replicate this. How can I move the transpose line like this? I just click with right click button on the mouse or the tablet, right click, and in this middle circle, yellow circle here in the transpose line, so we can move this the way we want. And don't forget to don't forget to once you're gonna start to drag this transpose line, don't forget to press shift button, so it's gonna take like a straight angles and also a perpendicular angle from the view that we are looking for. Okay, so here we have 1 head, 2 heads. Yeah, exactly. Here it will be the height of nipples, and then from that line, let me see, we're gonna have the belly button. Yeah, not exactly in the end of rib cage, but most of time like here in the middle part. And one more, let me see. And then we have here the pubic bone, right? I think this is to the right proportion. But if you want to have really sure about this, you could even, you know, try to position it like the side view, and maybe you could click like this to make the measurement. So for the top is okay, for the bottom, yeah, just a little bit less. But those things are just measurements. With the time, you're gonna kind of be used with the distance, and you won't need more to make those measurements, you know. Just in the beginning, I used to use this a lot, but after I better memorized, I think, the shape of those muscles and the shape of the anatomy itself, you know. So I think it will be better than stay all the time measuring like this. But in the beginning, when you are studying anatomy, it's always a good choice to make those measurements. Yeah, so as you can see, it just right there, but maybe the pelvis is just a little bit too much for the bottom. I don't know. One thing that we also could do is to use another pure half window. We can create like another pure half window and place this in always on top, you know. So here is right in to the right place, and then here as well for the head. Good. And then yeah, for the pelvis is not okay, because this one is not 8 tall head. This one it's 7.5, which is more natural. But as you can see, the Loomis, the idealistic 8 heads, it will be most accepted by artists because it's easier to make those measurements. And you know, for when we are drawing characters like not heroes, because here he says the heroic like 9 heads, but you can change this all the time, you know, by choosing the way you want the character is gonna be looking. So the easiest way is to use this idealistic with 8 heads, and the most natural, and you know, all the people, the realistic, it will looks more like 7.5. Like here we have let me show you 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have the middle of the body, right? And then for the legs we're gonna have 3.5, like 1, 2, 3, and kind of a half or something. So this is 7.5, or sorry by my writing, but from 7 to 7.5 and to 8 heads, it will be the most natural, the most generic and most frequently on nature. But it will always change too much from people, you know, from person to person. But as a good point to start, the 8 heads, it's a good way to measure and check if everything is right in place. Yeah, that's it. We could also go here and compare, like placing the same size like here, and yeah, we're gonna have exactly the pubic bone like that, you know, and then the belly button, the nipples, and the base of head, the top of head, right? So here we're gonna have a nice skeleton. And this, as you can see, it will be like 2 and 1/3 head, but we can also use this measurement here, like 1 head for the distance until you know, almost the end of shoulder. It's gonna needs just a little bit more, but a good way to start is to measure the skeleton itself, just as we did here, because the skeleton won't change by depending on the character. If the character will be a strong man or a thin guy, it will not change. Only the muscles will grow, and the skeleton will be the same. So because of this, I like to use that measurement from the top of head to the base of nose, and replicate this distance to the beginning of sternum, and the size of sternum, it will be the same, and also the size of clavicle, like this, you know. And from this distance of the clavicle, also from the end of sternum to the last rib, you know. So this last rib we could down just a little bit more, so we could have this landmark that we have here, you know, this last rib. Oops, let me show you. Yeah, you can even touch your rib. If you press here in your abdominal, you can feel that, and this will be the landmark used for those measurements, you know, like this. So the same size you're gonna have from here to here, it will be the same to this part, and also to this region here. And then we're gonna have the same size for from this last rib to this point here, which will be the point called which is called ACES, which is anterior, which means anterior superior iliac spine. ACES, right, is this point here in the pelvis, and you can also place your finger just above the end of your obliques, and you're gonna feel a point in your pelvis, and it will be this point right here. Okay, so using that same measurement, we can go over here, and we have 1 unit, and from there to the last rib, it will be like here, and then we can grab this, and we're gonna have the ACES point. We could even make it just a little bit higher, and will be exactly this point right here. Okay,